Alright guys, welcome back to Prophet Plays. I am Tyler, also known as Prophet. Today we're going to take a little bit of a break from Lantern content. We'll be back at that next week with a sweet new brew. But this week we're going to go into Mill. The original plan for this week was to do Pioneer with a green-red electrostatic pummeler deck that I've been wanting to play for a while. It was one of my favorite standard decks back in the day. And I wanted to see if I could make it work in Pioneer. Unfortunately, Harness Lightning is bugged on MTGO right now to where it just kind of replays. It goes back to the start of the game and does a fast forward through all the plays that have happened before, and it just keeps looping and throwing errors and just doesn't want to work. So, until they get that fixed, we're not going to be able to run that deck through. So today we are going to be playing Mill in Modern. Kind of a dirty little secret deck of mine that I like to play every now and then, but I don't think it's ever going to be my favorite deck. Lantern's going to have a firm hold on that spot for quite a while. So getting into the deck, mana base over here, we got a copy of Darkslick Source, just real quick, turn one, black or blue source, whatever we need. A copy of an island, so we can go get a basic. A couple snow-covered islands, snow-covered swamps, and a swamp. Just basics to go get off a Field of Ruins. Field of Ruin is in here. A little bit of land destruction takes out Tron lands, etc., etc. It also, most importantly, shuffles the opponent's deck if they're trying to play around our archive traps over here. It forces the opponent to search because it is not a May search. It is each player searches. So it forces them to search the deck, shuffle, and then we can archive trap them. We get fetches over here in Polluted Delta, Scalding Tarn, a couple Shocklands in Watery Grave. We get our hideaway land for Shelldock Isle, so we can mill the opponent out, tuck something underneath this, like an Archive Trap or Atasha's Hideous Laughter, and then hit them with it once we get their library down to 20 cards or under. We get Otawara here, just as a bounce ability. If there's a troublesome permanent we just need to get rid of for a turn, we can Otawara and get rid of it. And then we have Oboro, Palace of the Clouds. Blue source, great, untapped, awesome. The best thing about this card is we can pay one and bounce it back to our hand. And we can replay it, which re-triggers our Hedron Crabs and our Ruin Crabs. This deck got a huge boost when the Ruin Crab came out with Zendikar Rising to just kind of double down the crab count and speed up the mill. Running 2 copies of Visions of Beyond, so we get to draw, for one, it's a cantrip. If we're pretty deep into the game, it would, 1 mana draws 3 cards. Great card. 3 copies of Surgical Extraction. Great for, Emrakul, first of all. Get rid of an Eldrazi Titan and stop them from constantly triggering it. Any kind of key cards, we can turn one, or, we early game mill out a Indomitable Creativity or a key card for the opponent, make a Surgical Extraction and get rid of it. Really to boost our game plan. In some cases, makes the opponent's deck unplayable for them. We get 4 copies of Fatal Push for some of our removal here. Deals with Bragavans, DRCs, Ledger Shredders, any of that annoying shit that we don't have to deal with. More removal in Go for the Throat. Just destroy any creature that's not an artifact. Get Baleful Mastery. So, get rid of a creature or a Planeswalker. Big help there. We also get 4 copies of Drown the Lock, so we can use that either as a removal spell or a counter spell, whichever situation we really need it for. Over on our mill spells to go with our crabs and our archive traps, we get 4 copies of Tasha's Hideous Laughter that we each opponent exiles, so it's each, doesn't target. So great for getting around Leyline of Sanctity until they've exiled total CMC 20 or more. Now it does exile, so it wouldn't trigger those, Gaia's Blessings, which you don't really see in Modern so much. You see that more on Arena to counter the mill strategies there. Anything that would let the opponent shuffle back into their back into their library, we get around that with Natasha's Hideous Laughter. We get 4 Fractured Sanities. So 3 mana, they mill 4, or 14. They mill 14. We can cycle it for 1 and a blue to just draw a card, and if we do that, they each mill 4 cards. So another, each opponent. So a lot of our mill stuff now is each, which gets around any kind of hexproof that the opponent might have. Unlike back in the day when you had a lot of things that targeted the opponent, nowadays really only have Archive Trap targets, Hedron Crab targets, and I think Jason Perfected Mind target. Yeah, so Jason Perfected Mind is a new addition out of Phyrexia that does target as well. Yeah, he comes in. We can bring him in for on turn 3 if we want to pay the Phyrexian, or turn 4, and we can right away mill the opponent 15 cards for 4 mana. Great card. If we want to play him a little bit slower, we can just do 2. We can mill them 3 cards, and if it's later in the game that they have a bunch in their graveyard, then let's just draw 3 cards. Then final Murderous Cut, we get to delve to pay it, and destroy target creature. Over in the sideboard, we get 3 extra pates, so a little bit more surgical stuff with the split second, though. It helps us out a little bit. Crypt Incursion, so exile all creature cards from the target player's graveyard, gain 3 life for each one exiled this way. A little bit of insurance against burn. Echoing Truth, kind of Otawara on crack. 2 mana. We can bounce a bunch of things as long as they have the same name. So going against Dredge, you can bounce 3 copies of Prized Amalgam back to the hand. Just annoying things similar to that. Really good against Rhinos too. You can it's basically a removal spell for all the Rhinos that they have. 2 Ghost Quarters, so a little bit more Field of Ruin effect. Unfortunately, that one is a May, so they might choose not to if they want to respect Archive Trap a little bit. We get 3 Soul Guide Lanterns for some Graveyard Hate, 2 Ensnaring Bridges, lock down big creatures. We're not really an attacking deck. We actually don't really run any creatures that we would ever attack with. 2 Engineered Explosives. I love these for the Lantern Control matchup. And the Hammer Time matchup. Great Hammer Time matchup too. And we also have an Emrakul, so for the Mirror matchup, we can just drop that in and hope that the opponent doesn't have the Surgicals or the extra pates when we hit it. So that's the deck. We're going to run into a couple games here, see how they go. We'll see you guys in just a moment.